Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a seamless herringbone design using guides and the shape builder tool. Now while this is on the iPad version, if you're following along on the desktop, as long as you know where the tools are located, you should be able to follow along. Are you ready? Let's get started. I'm going to start with a 3600 pixel canvas, which will work perfectly for my print on demand sites. I'm setting my DPI to 300 and my color format to RGB. I'm going to use the entire canvas to create a single motif that I'll scale down before I tile it. I'm going to use the shape builder tool to do that, but before I do, I want to create a set of strokes that are going to work with the shape builder tool to create my diagonals. Now, if I were on the desktop version of the app, I would use grids to make this process easier. But there is a limitation with the iPad app in that the highest that you can go with grids is 256 pixels. Since I want to work rather large, that's going to be an issue. So instead, I'm going to use guides. I really just need something to snap to, so either grids or guides will work. I'm going to go up to the preview mode at the top and click on the right side here. I'll go to Guides Settings. And I'm going to set my vertical and horizontal middle first and go from there. I'm just going to change this to red. I can see it more easily. Now, I want to set guides at every 600 pixels, both on the vertical and horizontal. So let's start with the vertical. I'm just going to tap out a new vertical. I'll go to the position and I'm going to add 600. I'm going to do that again. And this time I'm going to add 1200. Now I need to go the other direction. So I'll tap to add one. This time I'm going to subtract 600. And again, I'll do that and subtract 1200. I'm going to do the horizontal one, but I'm going to speed it up since you just saw me do the vertical one. Before I move forward, I just want to make sure that Snap to Guides is on in my snapping options. So I'll tap to the right side of the magnet there, and I can make sure that Snap to Guides is toggled on. Now with my guides in place, I want to use the pen tool to add a series of strokes that are going to give me the grid that I need to use with my shape builder and create those diagonal rectangles that create the final motif. So I'm going to start with a vertical stroke at the 1200 mark. So I'll grab my pen tool. I don't need a fill. I'm going to use a black stroke and I'll set it to 50 pixels just so it can be seen more easily. And I'll go here to the 1200 on the vertical and I'm going to tap. I have my command controller open. If yours isn't, just go up to the documents menu and toggle command controller. I'm going to hold shift down. That's going to help me create a perfectly straight line. Now I want to make sure that my nodes are set at the edge of the canvas. The iPad can be a little bit fussy when it comes to snapping nodes. So I'm just going to go here and just snap and make sure that they're where they need to be. It looks like I'm fine. So I'll go ahead and duplicate this line. And once again, I'll hold shift down. And I'm going to drag the handle over until it snaps to that 2400 mark. With my move tool, I'm going to drag to select both of those. I'll duplicate them with the quick menu. And again, I'm going to hold shift down. That's going to allow me to rotate this at 15-degree angles until it's rotated to 90 degrees. And I'm left with this sort of tic-tac-toe pattern. Now I have my verticals and horizontals in place, and now I want to create the diagonals. And that's where these additional guides are going to come in. With my pen tool, I'm going to start at the top left. Again, I'll hold shift down and go to the bottom right. I want to grab my node tool and just make sure that those snap to the exact corners. With my move tool, I'm going to duplicate this. And again, I'm going to hold shift down. This helps keep it straight. And I'm going to drag at the handle point. When on the diagonal, it helps to drag at the middle of the line, not another point on it, because that's the exact center of it. While I keep it selected, I'm going to duplicate that. I'll go back to the middle line here. Once again, I'm going to duplicate it, hold down shift, and drag the midpoint to that intersection. As long as I don't deselect that, I can duplicate it and it's automatically going to move the duplicate. So I'm going to select these 5 lines, tap the first one, and 2-finger tap to select the other. And as long as everything is snapped right to the point where it's supposed to be, I can just duplicate this, go up to the top, and flip horizontal, and I should get this grid. So I'm all set. If yours go to either side where it looks like it's slightly off, just check your original diagonals and make sure they're where they're supposed to be. I'm going to group all of those up just to keep them together. It's going to make it a little bit easier with some upcoming steps. And one final thing I want to do is grab my rectangle tool, and I'm going to create a stroke around the edge of my canvas. So this should be 3600 pixels. Looks like it's fine. And it should be at the very edge. And you can see that here in my layers. Now what I've done here, this looks like a lot of work to create a diagonal, but this is actually going to be used in a twofold manner. The first is going to be to create the actual first diagonal, but it's also going to help me snap anything else that I create. So I'm going to select both of these and the shape builder tool, and you can see that it gives me this nice template to create my first shape. In the contextual menu for the shape builder, I'm going to go to this third option and make sure that create a new shape is selected. I'm going to use line for my option here in the middle. And then this doesn't matter because I'm not going to be adding or removing anything. So I'm just going to keep that where it's at. I'll need that later anyway. So I'll just keep it to clean unused geometry. And I want to make sure I have everything selected. What I'm going to do is start here and just drag a line down. And you can see here in my layers, it's created a curve. So I'm going to move that to a fill and just change the color so we can see it. I'm going to use this to create my additional rectangles in this column. I'll select the shape with my move tool. I'm going to hold my finger down for the quick menu and duplicate that. I'm going to hold shift down in the command controller and just start dragging this up until it snaps up into that next place. Now I need to fill in that top one as well. So I'm going to leave that selected, duplicate it, and it's going to power duplicate it up. So now I need to complete the down portion. So I'm going to duplicate it. Again, hold a shift. This just keeps it straight down until it snaps into place. And I'm going to duplicate it once more. So I can use these 5 curves to create everything else I need. So I'm going to select the first one, 2-finger tap to select the rest. I'll go ahead and duplicate this, and I'm going to change the color just so that you can see what I'm doing. I'll just make it this gray color. I want to go up to the contextual menu at the top and choose flip horizontal. And then once again, hold shift down to keep it in line until I get to about here. And then I'm just going to drag up and it should snap into place. Now I'm going to use this to create what I need for here. But with the iPad, I find it's best to deselect and then reselect, and that helps with the snapping. So I'm just going to select all of the gray ones here. I'll go ahead and duplicate them. I don't need to flip them because this is the same direction. I'm just going to hold shift down and drag across until it snaps into place. Now at this point, I can turn my guides off. I can also turn this original group of strokes off, but I'm going to keep the rectangle on because I need it for the next step. I'm going to select all of the newly created rectangles. I no longer need these to be fills for right now. I'm going to go up to the top and just turn off the fill and just turn on a black stroke. And what I want to do is select the rectangle layer along with those and go back to the shape builder tool. Now this time, instead of creating a new shape, I want to delete everything that's on the outside of the canvas. So I'm going to hit minus here. I'll keep this set as line. And again, my third option is going to be clean unused geometry. That's going to get rid of anything I don't need. I'll just drag a line on the outside here to remove whatever's outside of the canvas. I'm going to start with that. And then I want to zoom in here and I want to get rid of all of these edge points, making sure that I don't get rid of anything on the inside. So I'm going to very carefully tap just to get rid of those. Now in that case, I did want to get rid of both. That's fine. But I'm making sure that I'm not getting rid of any of the strokes on the inside here. So I'm just tapping rather than dragging. At this point, I have a number of curves that are all broken up. I'm going to go ahead and group this up, and this is my final motif. Now, I don't want to create something at this scale. So with that selected, I'm going to go to my transform panel, and I want to choose a size that's going to be large enough to see it, but it's also going to go into my canvas evenly. So I'm going to go up to the top here. I'll toggle the aspect ratio on to lock that. And I'm going to change the width to 1200. I'm also going to set the stroke width, I think, to 25, just to make it a little bit thinner, and turn on scale with object. All right, at this point, I don't want to tile it from here. And the reason I don't want to is if I zoom in, you can see that I have some rounded stroke ends here. I'm not dealing with a perfectly contained shape. Even if I change these to one of the other options, either I'm going to get a gap or there's going to be a problem with the tiling. So what I want to do is take this and I'm going to move this up to the top left corner so that half of the top and half of the side are off. That way, anything that's here is not the end of a stroke. I'm not going to get any gaps. So I can go ahead and duplicate this, go to my transform panel, and the width and height are both 1200. So on the x-axis, I'm going to add 1200. And as long as I keep this selected, I can use the quick menu to power duplicate it. And I need this one to go off the edge on the other side to complete this one. So with that first row, I'm going to select that. Once again, I'll duplicate it. This time I want to go down on the y-axis. So I'll tap the y-axis and I can add 1200. With all of my motifs in place, there are a few directions I can go with this. The first is I can select all of these groups and change the stroke color to something I prefer. So maybe I'll pick this red color. I could change the size of the stroke to something like 50 maybe. And then what I can do is take a rectangle and place it behind the entire thing. I'll just change this to this off-white and move this all the way to the back. And I have a tileable pattern. In fact, I have that here. I'm going to add an artboard. And I've already saved one to my assets down here. So I'll show you what that looks like. If I just grab my gradient tool, tap and set this as a fill, and scale this down, you can see I have a nice herringbone design that's perfectly tiled. Now that's fine, but I want to show you a different approach you can take. I'm going to select all of my groups in this first artboard. I don't want to select the rectangle behind it. And I'll go to my vector flood fill tool. I want to make sure I choose the flood fill tool first before I choose the actual fill, because the first time you use it, it's going to give you this red fill. Any subsequent time, it's going to give you the last fill that you used. So I'm going to select maybe this deep teal color. Now this part is kind of tedious, but what I want to do is use the vector flood fill tool to create complete shapes anywhere one of these motifs touches the canvas. So I'm just going to start tapping inside, and if I go to my layers, you can see they're not cut off by the canvas. It's actually the full curve, and there's a reason that I want that, which I'll talk about in a moment. Any other method to get fills from this are going to cut everything off at the edge of the canvas. So I'll be left with these little triangles or these incomplete shapes here. So I'm just going to keep tapping again anywhere that it touches the canvas, even if it's something as small as that triangle. And I'll do that until the entire canvas has fills. Once all the shapes are in place, I'm going to go ahead and group up this original tiling, and I'm going to turn it off. I don't need it anymore. And you can see that I'm left with the rectangles and these little white faint lines around them so you can see where they're at. Now with all of them selected, I'm going to tap on the first one, 2-finger tap on the last. And this step here is why it was important to have shapes that went off the canvas and didn't get cut off by the edge. What I want to do is select the contour tool, and I'm going to bring the contour down 25 pixels. If I didn't have complete shapes, what would happen with the shapes on this edge where they're just triangles, there would be a white line where the contour would come in there as well. So this side would not complete this side. There would be a weird gap. So that's why I wanted to make sure that I had full rectangles here and not just the little triangles. So I'm going to go ahead and set that so that these don't scale down any further. Now I could call this done and leave this as is, but I want to take this a step further. I'm going to grab the corner tool, and I want to drag across and select all of those corner nodes. With that selected, I'm going to set this to 75 pixels, and that's going to round off all of my rectangles. So I have something a little bit different than this one over here, in that I still have what looks like strokes in between, but I have these nice rounded ones. So let me show you what that looks like. I'll grab my gradient tool, and I have that one here. So that would end up looking something like this. And again, this is fine, but I want to take it one additional step. I'm going to use the vector flood fill tool, and I'm going to make random changes to the colors. So I'll go ahead and select the first curve here. I want to select all of those shapes again. I'm going to two-finger tap to select the rest. Now, one thing I didn't do, and you can see it because they're showing as full rectangles, I did not convert this to curves. So if I were to scale this down, those corners would keep changing. So while I have those selected, I'm going to go ahead and click Convert to Curves, and that sets them. Now I'll select my Vector Flood Fill tool. So I'm going to grab this yellow, and I'm just going to start randomly tapping around the canvas, making sure that if I do anything off the edge of the canvas, I go to the opposite side so that I can make sure that I complete it. Now, I just chose the wrong one in that case, and this is where it can be tricky. This kind of looks like it's in line with it, but it's not really. The one that I want to choose is this one. So I'm going to back up and select this. So I'm going to go directly across because you can see this little part here needs to be completed by this. So I'm just going to speed this up. I'm going to use some random colors as I go around, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, once I have those colors in place, I want to go ahead and select the artboard layer. Select that layer, not the ones beneath it. I'll go ahead and add this to my assets. And as soon as that's in place, I can go ahead and select the second artboard, add my gradient tool, and I'm just going to set that as a fill. And you can see that because I already scaled this down, it's gone ahead and used the same scale for this one. And I'm just going to double check and make sure that there's nothing cut off. In other words, I didn't change one here, but forget to do it over here, or I changed the wrong one. Everything looks fine. I don't see any weird clumping. So I'm going to call this one done. If you have any questions or a suggestion for a seamless pattern or any topic you'd like to see covered here on my channel, let me know in the discussion below. And if you like my teaching style, check out my full-length classes, including my full pattern toolkit classes either on my Skillshare channel or my own learning site, The Creator Collage. You can find links to both below. I have lots more tutorials on the way, but in the meantime, you might want to check out one of these two next. Thanks for watching.